Okay. Welcome. Happy New Year, everybody. This is the IOTA Community Governance meeting number 1, 2023. We're starting with governance again. A lot of stuff to do in January, a lot of exciting stuff happening, and yeah, happy that you all found your way back here. And we're just started to discuss a couple of stuff around timings and tasks and all the things that we plan to do around treasury and so on and so on and so on. Yeah. So yeah, the question was from my side if we, as we are now really obviously approaching um, finalizing some things and get things done, um, if we go back to one meeting per week or we keep the two, because I think we just added the second one to get shit done for the treasury. But that's we can just discuss it. We can also discuss it in the chat and ask the opinion of a couple of more people. Yeah, yeah. But like
Well,
you, I think you're right. Until the operational agreement, there will be some heavy tasks to lift over the next weeks to get this finalized, and then when we got that, yeah.
yeah. I think if we could get the legal entity set up, and then
Yeah. I mean,
then I think we're pretty
one
much
thing
smooth sailing.
don't forget, my friends. First, we have to get a vote, because without, if the community shits shits in the bed and decides against all these wonderful attempts and work we have done, will be kind of useless. So yeah, just a reminder.
Well, yeah. I mean, so at least on the legal entity, I mean, do we want to, since we're technically on the treasury, did we solidify it in phase 2, which we didn't, right? Or we did?
What?
So the treasury framework, let's see, review. We did not, which is good because so the treasury framework, we would
Yes.
still need to
Yeah,
do
we
a
have to
phase
bring
2.
to phase 2 once I mean, if we
We
have the polls and everything was very clear uh, in favor of Marshall Islands, huh? I haven't looked it up, but
that's
yeah,
that no, absolutely. On Twitter, it was like 73% with 140 people. I can actually look up the
yeah,
number. And then I think it was 95% in our group with like
yes,
19 people.
yeah,
So I think it's pretty clear that we go there. I just wanted to give anyone in the group, like, since not all the lawyer legal stuff was public. Does anyone have any questions? Like, I know I discussed with the Liechtenstein. Okay, 67.5% Marshall Islands with 157 votes, 24.8% Switzerland, 7.6% Liechtenstein.
yeah.
But does anyone in that group have a question on Marshall Islands or Switzerland or anything?
From everything I've heard so far, Marshall Island does seem the best solution. I think Switzerland and Liechtenstein, they do have their advantages, but I think the setup, it would just take a long time.
Yeah, and
yeah, also the entire for-profit thing.
yeah,
I
and
think Marshall Islands is the best, and if in the future we would see some sort of requirement, we need to have some bases in the EU or so, then I think we can still go for it.
yeah. And my take was, like, if you're doing financial stuff, Web3, like, if the DAO is going to be strictly a DeFi platform or something like that, then it's good to be in Liechtenstein, potentially in Switzerland, because you get like government approval on your operating agreement and stuff, or the statutes they call it. But for our purposes, given the fact that we're not that risky, um, Marshall Islands is just very flexible, where Switzerland and Liechtenstein, you can't have community governance. It's always the board, or it's always the I can't remember it in Liechtenstein, but the representative has ultimate authority. So that, and then there's also even 0.5% tax, and there's fees, and especially, I mean, a lawyer, I don't think I should say their name, but was like, you get feed to death in those countries, like every time you want to do something, you got to pay. So, where Marshall Islands is a lot more flexible, and given the fact that we're not doing anything risky, what do people think about having a lawyer support us in writing the operating agreement and kind of looking out for our interests as we build in the Marshall Islands?
I think definitely we need. Well, from my side, absolutely. I can also, whatever financing is needed. I don't know if he needs anything in advance. I think he also was okay with charging Shimmer tokens or partially. Um, this will be
Mhm.
easy. So nobody of you, I get this from Dom. Yeah. So if we need a couple of €1,000 for engaging with what is his name, Stefano or Paolo? Yeah. If we all
Paulo, yeah.
agree that this would be a good option, there's no issue for having a pre-financing. I mean, Dom already always promised he will help if there's some legal costs before the tokens are available. Or actually, I mean, tokens are available already, so that's no problem. Yeah,
And I also talked to Mark, and he said the Tangle ecosystem could, Dom could,
yeah,
but I don't mind, and that is good. I did clarify with Paulo because he said he accepted crypto, and I said, do you take Shimmer? And he went and looked at it, and he said, yeah, I'll accept it, which is pretty cool. That's pretty interesting. So I thought his rates were I mean, I've working with a legal firm here for something, and I mean, I think all the lawyers here in Colorado are about $300 to $400. So I think his rate is very reasonable. And I think he does seem very just simply passionate about supporting DAOs and supporting the crypto Web3 space, which is pretty cool. So should we say, I mean, we've got the polls, does anyone disagree with forming in the Marshall Islands and disagree with having Paulo support us in writing the operating agreement? And he also said basically what he'll do is a KYC AML policy, which, on the Marshall Islands side, the guy said, well, you can just find someone's and copy it. But,
Hmm.
uh,
Some
I'm okay with a lawyer writing it up, and it's just that simple check in the box. And I think what we would do is use basically whoever the IOTA does. And what was her name? The lawyer,
Anya.
Philo. Anya.
Hmm.
Because we kind of discussed that a little bit, where Marshall Islands, and I talked about it with Paulo, and he said, well, there isn't one list of, basically we wouldn't be able to give money to what do they call it?
Yeah, there's a specific name. Yeah, this is the
no,
list of the
this word.
terror financing
Yeah.
um,
So
things like.
it's countries and groups.
Yeah.
The issue is America has one list, Europe has one list, the UN has one list, et cetera, et cetera. So, but what Anya had said is basically you pay a company to KYC, which is not, expensive per KYC, but essentially they're taking that responsibility to ensure that the person or group is not part of this list, and that would be basically within the KYC AML policy.
That should usually all the KIC service providers, they do that in their process. Yeah.
And then Paulo also said he could do a GDPR privacy agreement. He said if we're going to have a website or anything, that per European Union, you need to do that. But he said, you may want to wait on that. That might not be that important. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I think the German community will be happy about that. It's a very specific German and European thing. I know in US and you don't even need an impressum officially, but Europeans and Germans, whenever there's a website without an impressum, uh, people get like, oh my God, they're going to scam. So yeah, having something written up, well defined, is a good thing. I mean, we surely could also just take something um, kind of uh, formal or copy paste from others, which but if he's I think it wasn't also not expensive for what he is charging for that, so
Yeah,
that's a
it
good
was
thing.
like
Yeah,
500
And
euro or
yeah.
something. It wasn't that much.
yeah,
Okay.
maybe we could. I know that Maiten from the legal team is also good in that. Maybe I can just ask someone from legal as well. For me, both is
That's
fine. It's
yeah.
just that I know
That's
that
what I
our
also thought.
team might.
Yeah, we do this in all our websites and everything. Basically, we might even just ask, like you said, like ask Maiten to write something specifically for this. I mean, in the end, it will be very likely just a Notion web page, but still, it
Yeah.
needs some impression and some legal blah blah blah. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just have to, and then I mean, I'm American. I don't really do a GDPR, but I mean, essentially, it's if someone wants to take their information down, we have to take it down. Is that correct?
Don't ask me. It's really complex. I'm happy that I'm not in
Okay.
Europe and have to, but
Yes,
it's
it's
yeah.
complex.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I don't know if Notion or Airtables does that, but on the website thing, just real quick, I was looking recently on how Airtable can work with Softer and basically develop a web page based on the Airtable backend, or potentially Webflow. I think Softer is a direct integration Webflow you might need, like Zapier. Has anyone worked with Webflow or Softer at all?
No. What about Notion itself? I mean, with Notion itself, you can basically build a functional and nice looking I mean, you don't have fancy features and stuff like this, but I
Yeah.
mean, you look at what Aave and other grand DAOs do. Yeah, you basically just need an application form and a little welcome and information text. So you could even do it just with Notion potentially.
Yeah, and I mean, and it is. I mean, it's currently set up through WhaleSync with Notion, so that is
Yeah.
the essentially the front end, and then the back end is all Airtable. I just it's pretty slick, this software, and they've just come out to where it's essentially Notion, but like you can even, it
Yeah.
used to just be a read only, and now
Yeah.
it's a read and write. So I was just curious. I might just
Yeah. I
try it
mean, this
out and
can be evolved over time to make
yeah,
it more fancy.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, the good thing is it's ready to go right now. I mean, people can
yeah.
just use Notion, upload a web form for a grant proposal, and then the committee can review it and grade it and everything like
Yeah.
that.
Okay,
Um,
so as nobody has anything against Marshall Islands, it seems, let's do
mm,
this. I'll start adjusting the framework towards fully Marshall Islands. So I'll remove everything that was related to Switzerland. It's not much. Um, I'll review all the text and parts that we have, see that we can make it as close as possible to what we need for Marshall Islands. I'll check the operational agreement and things like this. If we would have to adjust a couple of wordings or things like that, we can maybe check that together with Paolo. But I'll do a
yeah.
first final draft version and post that in the channel here for everyone to read through that, because then we could push this to the governance forum as the final version and get community approval um, on that thing with the final form and then put it into phase two. So we will very nicely line up from the timing um, that this can go together with the other two proposals into the final Firefly vote. I don't know. Seems like end of January, something like this, beginning of February. Like I said in the beginning, Firefly team is very well progressing from the internal project board that I've seen today. There are only two high priority tasks left, and from the planning, they should be finished until end of the week, so 15th. And then there is only low or zero priority small backlog stuff to do, which likely will be done during beta testing. So it seems Firefly gets stuff together towards middle of January that we can start, I don't know, maybe a week of alpha and 1 or 2 weeks beta testing. Towards end of January, maybe first week of February, be ready to finally vote. That would be very, very nice.
And then just to confirm again, so it's 100% confirmed we can work under the TIA if we don't have the Marshall
Yep.
Islands set up after
Yep.
phase 3. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Anya and Jan, they're happy with it. They have no issues around that whole thing. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, good. So that is the entity creation completed. Working under the TIA. So I wrote this here. We don't. Okay, so do we know exactly the process of how the smart contract could work when working as an entity in the Marshall Islands? Because that would probably need to go in the operating agreement.
You mean voting via
Like-
smart contract or a general govern
issuing payments,
issuing
issuing
payments?
payouts.
Yeah. You could likely use as a blueprint something like Compound, which is likely a fork of Compound governance or open sapling governance contracts will likely be used for whatever treasury management will be deployed on EVM, because this is basically the standard that all bigger DAOs use when it comes to handling tokens and having decisions made by the community. Do you think it needs to be very clear defined? Because I think as long as we don't have the smart contracts and everything, and stuff is voted and decided through Shimmer tokens and then paid out via the Gnosis safe, I don't think we will need to implement this, because the Marshall Islands thing will basically govern the budget of the treasury. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Later on, I think once we are really having stuff, then we would need to maybe update this operational agreement once. I mean, this will cost something, but yeah.
It won't be much. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we can really, if we write something in now, and anyway, in the end, it turns out to be a little bit different. We will have to update or change it anyway. So, yeah.
So for now, we're doing a Gnosis multi-sig wallet.
Yeah. Gnosis
Okay.
multisig wallet, governance decisions on the Tangle via token-based votings without smart contracts.
Okay. Smart contracts. Well used. And that's already in the framework, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay. Good. And then I just threw in here to clarify, can reviewers take part in bounty programs or submit proposals for the good of the Treasury? For example, let's say someone is really good at making web pages. Could they submit a proposal to make a web page for the Treasury if they were part of the committee?
I don't see. I don't see an issue, I think.
So did we confirm that if someone on the committee, basically they aren't allowed to submit a proposal to the Treasury directly for a project? Or that they would just recuse themselves from the vote?
They
Can't remember.
can. I think we just. Oh, let my brain work. I think we didn't exclude this. They can just not take part in the decision-making process. So you can submit. I mean, you can even be part of a team that submits a proposal to the Treasury. You just cannot take any part in the decision-making process. Besides
Okay.
the the lead, which cannot do anything like this, but the reviewers, usual reviewers, are able to do that.
Okay. Game process. Okay. All right. Well, that was a lot easier than I thought to get through that stuff. The last bullet point I had was to discuss the the MPC from TinklePay. I don't know, Philo, if you had a chance to watch the America's meeting at all.
No, I
If
haven't.
not, I can.
I haven't watched it.
Okay.
I read what Garrett was sending me, and the docs and the stuff like this. Yeah, interesting. I mean, nice little thing to play around, definitely. I don't
So
know.
I think it's really interesting that it gives an opportunity to leverage the governance framework, because essentially, and for anyone else in the group that hasn't heard about the MPC, which is the Jesus, I don't want to. What is it, Garrett? What's MPC exactly? The multi-party.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically the MPC platform, and I also see like in the governance channel, like there are some questions. So the MPC platform itself is actually, you could at the tag, you could also check the links I sent. So basically it's like a method, like basically it's more like privacy and also security on the part. So basically, you could basically see like the MPC platform itself as like a multi-sig wallet, but it's not the same like the Gnostic. I have a chart which I could also share later to tell how is the difference it is, and more importantly, it's like what you can build on top of it. And yeah, so basically in the Discord, people also mention like the bridge part. And so basically, if a bridge built on MPC, basically the asset could be stored in the MPC platform instead of like centralized environment. So basically, it's more secure and controlled not by single validator or the owner of the potential wallet. And more importantly, it's like there will be other utilities that can be built on this MPC. And it's like I mentioned, like the Oracle, which might be very important for like lending protocols, and also like the protocols that will need to get more accurate pricing not only from the DEX, but also like from like the centralized exchanges, etc., which is more reliable price. And also like in a long run, people also talk about like adoption of crypto, which currently I think more people was like thinking the private key is like the headache. If people lost the private key, they lost their crypto. However, like with the MPC solution, there actually can be solutions like you could get back your asset even if you lost your private key. As long as the validators could, there will be like standard protocol to fund back your asset, etc. So there are lots of interesting things that could be built on this MPC. So probably the first one will be like the bridge, and then will be actually we also share the code of the bridge, and also we will share the code of the Oracle very soon. So basically, it will start with 2 utilities, and also like so we want to make this platform like open, so like other projects could also. So this is MPC platform when it's running and run by the validators the community chose. Actually, it's not no longer like the TangoPay MPC platform. Actually, it's like more like the IOTA Community MPC platform, which we can put lots of utility on top of it. And from like the governance point of view, because I also have the chance to potentially become like a grant reviewer, and I see this is an interesting thing, like to see how the projects can work with the Shima governance treasury. So because I was thinking we don't want to only like make the treasury as like a spending facility, only spend Shima out and with no potential income in the future. So basically, I think this is a very interesting thing to kind of like an example to see how to test how this can work out. And also like yesterday, I was also talking to our team. Like this year, we have like TangoPay team. We have more developer capacity since we recruit some more developers during the last 2 months. So basically, we were like thinking, but however, some of the, like for example, this MPC platform, we think this is important, but we can't make a TangoPay MPC platform because it will be meaningless. This have to be like controlled by the validators from the community, so that it can work. So basically, there are other potential infrastructures actually, like teams like TangoPay or like more like maybe like Sooniverse and Shimasi, they also, if they have extra developer capacity, actually we could also try out like they are we can become kind of like technical team, which will get, for example, if Shima governance say, okay, we think Gary, this utility is something interesting, and I say, okay, our team can build this. And so basically, like the MPC, I propose, like for example, TangoPay will take 13% of the potential income of the utilities that is built by TangoPay. So there can be other like similar methods, like projects can be arranged and pushed out from the community side. So this is just some random thinking. So I think we have talked about this. I think perhaps we should also explain more to the, maybe it was because of the holiday. Not all the people were following up this the potential utility of this MPC platform. So maybe we could let community know more about it. And also like last time I explained. And so basically the next step, it will be like choosing the validators, which will be also very important. And so I also sent in the governance channel like a kind of framework. Maybe we could start from there. And if anyone could have like better idea, we could discuss and optimize it, or we could change to check. Otherwise, we could also release it in the governance thread I shared initially. So basically, this is like what's in my mind, and see maybe how what are you guys thinking, and how we can make it forward. Also, if you have any questions, and you can also ask. And yeah.
Yeah, and I think think the multi-party computation platform and what Garrett had discussed on Wednesday. We had him on the America's channel to give a background of basically what it is and what it's need for, and also particularly how is the governance framework kind of integrated here. And that was, certainly what I was interested in. And what he was saying was that, really this is all based on the validators, right? Like, let's say there's 6 validators or 9 validators or whatever. You always need 2/3 majority agreement on whatever decision. So if it's a bridge and those validators are signing essentially those transactions, now of course the validators have to have trust in that sense, right? So then it's like, well, and he suggested, well, not only should the governance group be a validator in a sense, but also it can be given once it's operational and executable, such as like TanglePay does the code. It's then given to the community. So how is that given to the community? Well, then it would basically everything would be done decision making wise, done through the governance framework. So like, let's just say there was 6 validators, and then the community thought, hey, this has been running for 6 months, but we think we should have 9 validators. It would go through the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, get voted in Firefly, boom, go to 9 validators. Maybe the fee dispersion, because currently it's 20% to community treasury, 30% to the tech developer, 30%. back from the
Hello.
and maybe we could start looking at doing like a phase one. So Philo, we were just talking about like
Sorry,
how to
I had a power outage. I was like sitting in the black for a couple of minutes.
I know when the snow came last week, we had a couple blackouts, but
Yeah.
we're just talking about like I was asking anyone in the group if they had any comments, you know, positives or negatives. If basically this is an opportunity to leverage the governance framework on decision making, and basically Garrett's MPC. Just quick, you know, I asked him on Wednesday during the Americas, how does it integrate with governance? And he said basically this is to be given to the community, which then the community needs to make decisions. So, like in essence, for an example, validators. So he would push a phase one with, let's just say, 6 validators. And if it works, but then the community may want 9 validators. So if the community then says, hey, we need 9 validators, it's just not trusted enough, they would put a phase one proposal, phase two, and then it would get voted on. And then they would go to 9 validators. So essentially, what Garrett's proposing is giving this to the community to essentially manage and run through the governance framework.
Yeah, I know. I have a couple of, I don't know, comments or questions on that. I mean, first of all, I appreciate the idea. I think that's from a thought process, it's a great idea to have something like this. I'm a bit so from a governance perspective, it's a cool thing. From a use case perspective, I'm a bit, I don't know, cautious because what we would be trying to do with something like this, let's say we would try to build our own bridge with this. I would be very cautious security-wise.
Yeah.
I mean, we have seen so much issues with bridges, and so I would always kind of think if we deploy bridges between blockchains, we as community have zero experience. We are just completely too stupid and too dumb to do this in a correct and super secure way compared to applications that run this for several years on multiple huge networks with their own flaws, and they had all their issues and things. Starting something as a community project of a community that has zero experience with smart contracts is sounds super risky for me, just from the technical standpoint. And from a governance standpoint, I think, yes, something like this, you can always leverage the governance framework, but as it is a single application, this can, of course, also develop over time with their own governance rules. Yeah, so this is not something that needs to be bound and fixed to how governance is done for the protocol, because this is just an application. This is just like, let's say, like TanglePay or like ShimmerC or like ApeDAO. Of course, everyone can implement their own governance over time. You might start with our framework, but then you will see that maybe for a single application or a single platform, it can be useful to adopt things. Yeah, so you don't sometimes you just don't want or don't need the whole community vote on such things. You can of course do this, but I wouldn't fix it and bound it to always do exactly the same procedures like the big governance for the network. Yeah, so that are my initial thoughts on it. I haven't watched the video. I know MPC platforms and things like this. Mainly, of course, they're used for custody and stuff. So I'm just thinking about who would use it currently. I mean, besides TanglePay, also for oracles, oracles are very, very critical. And again, there are a couple of Oracle providers out there that are really the preferred ones for DeFi and for all those applications. And if we have them available, I wouldn't see reasons for having our own homemade Oracle thing running. Yeah, so compared to really professional run and managed and built things that have years of experience.
Yeah, got you, Philo. I think they are very good points. Security definitely is the most important part. And regarding to like the bridge, actually there will be like different service providers coming. Perhaps like one of them we heard is the multi-chain, right?
Yeah.
So actually to us it's like just another team actually also based in Shanghai and started in 2020. And actually we don't see like if there's like anything they could do, and our community we can't do. And also it's like 1 year ago when we started Tango Pay, it's like everyone is like questioning if it would be safe or not. Yeah. So far I think we're doing good. So basically actually, and actually there's the initial reason actually we started this is because like we found their solution. We don't know who are the validators. So this was like the initial problem. So basically you asked me who will use our the community. If we build this, the validators are all like we could trust. Actually, I will use our money, and also like we didn't sell any IOTA. We raised from the NFT, and definitely we would bridge them with this bridge instead of the multi-chain bridge, because I know the validators, and I feel I could trust them better than like the anonymous ones. And so also like the Oracle, actually before like the our team also has experience in building the Oracle and a DeFi derivative platform. And so basically definitely that one, the experience could definitely be leveraged. And also before that, we also had audit of that product. And also for the platform itself, like this MPC one, actually we definitely need to audit really cautiously. So this is how a product go to market. So of course there are different. I don't know. I think I'm not a kind of person like if there's something other people could trust and I would trust. So basically I would trust what I trust. So that's the reason I think it's. And also it's like and also like other for what's there are some big players outside of our community, and of course I think they are really good in what they are doing. And however, there's also like bad parts in this. It's like to them actually like IOTA is just like more another chain to them, because they have like 20-30 chains they support, and some of them they even don't know what's the difference between Shima and the Shima EVM is. Some teams last time I talked to them. So however, it's like if we build this, definitely we know what IOTA is, what Shima is, and we can definitely put 100% of our focus in what we build for the IOTA community, because this is the reason we're here. So I think there.
I very much understand, Garrett, and I trust. I just think this is this needs a long time to develop, and to get the community and the knowledge behind that. Of course, Tangle Pay has, if they have experience in this stuff, but around the validators and the whole process of this whole thing, I think this is not something that can be spun up in the next 6 months or something, or sounds for me like this, because there seems to be a lot of development and test and tries in. It's pretty cool to think about what we as IOTA community could build for the future with such a thing. But it's just, for me, it sounds like this is really just the beginning for a thought process, and it's good to start it like this in the governance group and in the community, to get a couple of people involved and see where this leads.
Yeah, and actually, it's much earlier than you expect. Actually, the bridge part, actually we're already testing it, and also like going through the audit. And for the Oracle, actually, it's also getting ready. So basically, actually, we are aiming for provide these utilities for like the Shima EVM, and once it's launched. So yeah, so that's the reason we think we should. Yeah, definitely. I think we it's still it's like the security is the number one priority.
Mainly my question will really be how to ensure trust in the validators. I mean, how can we choose validators that are trustful, that have something at stake, that they just don't. I mean, if you have 9 validators and they all know each other, and in the end,
Yeah.
so that's
that's a question. So actually, initially, I was thinking even that's the reason I wanted to bring like the Shima governance, or maybe if the IF affiliate would be interested, that would be the better solution. And yeah, so still, it's like when we talk about validators, this solution is already better than some potential other solutions, which we don't know who are the validators. So I think we could definitely try to work this out. Yeah.
I mean, and I think it's like you said, it's a good thought process because I mean, we're gonna have EVM, but then there's gonna be, if the network expands, there's gonna be more chains. You know, someone, maybe not today, but someone's gonna come and create a new chain, and then that's gonna have validators, and this question's gonna come up. Do you trust those validators? You know, and do you know those validators? I mean, that's why I think it's good that, you know, like it's good that we're going to have the EVM, which is going to be a more of a proof of reputation, and it's going to be managed by the IF. But at some point, you know, we got to come up with a system that doesn't always solely depend on like the IF, or, you know, maybe 5 or 6 just trusted. But then how do you do that? You know, that's a big question. You know, like everyone could KYC. Do they need to put some staking in or whatever? Do they need to put a like a collateral deposit if they do KYC? I mean, I think the community should, you know, go through that thought process and go, you know, so at least then we could tell people, hey, these are, you know, it's going to be the same with DeFi platforms, right? Like, hey, we're going to probably warn the community, like, you know, there's going to be an explosion of applications once Shimmer goes live, really with EVM. And then who do you trust? Almost same thing with NFTs, you know, like who do you trust? And kind of the traditional things come up of, well, you can buy NFTs from this creator, but do you know who they are? You know, do they have history? Do they have reputation? Or are they just completely anonymous degen? And then, you know, 3 weeks later, someone finds it out on Polygon that they just copied and pasted this thing and took off with, you know, 5GI. But DeFi is going to get, I mean, everything's going to scale, right? Like DeFi is going to get so bigger.
There will be chains coming, and it's always the job of the chain deployers to create their governance, and then whoever is going to use that thing will have to make sure and ensure and figure out if this is something trustable. Yeah, so that's going to be a very interesting year to see how those things happens and what will be the first independent chain beside Shimmer EVM, and how will they secure this thing and make sure that it's trustable, because actually as long as you don't have a proper proof of stake system, nothing can be trusted besides Shimmer EVM itself. Yeah, so yeah, and that's going to be pretty interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
but Garrett, what you did put it up now in the governance forum. So what would be basically the selection process now? I mean, there have been a couple of people said, okay, I would be interested to become a validator, but what are the requirements for validators? What is the selection process for validators? What do they have to ensure? Do they have to deposit $50,000 somewhere, or I don't know. Did you think
Yeah.
about something there?
Yeah. So basically, I sent this potential like framework link of it, and if you click it, it can get to a like Dropbox paper file. So basically, in it, I can briefly talk about it. So basically, the responsibility of these validators, like, of course, basically people will need to know what they need to do, right? First, so basically, they definitely need to set up the node like according to the instruction on GitHub, and so we get some potential feedback when we share it to some teams, and they say it's very straightforward. So if someone with technical capacity, it shouldn't be a problem. And secondly, it's like auditing. Like auditing sounds like normally done by the third party. Of course, some third party will involve. However, like when there's like a new proposal, like the validators should also have like the capacity to audit along with the third party. And also, of course, they need to maintain their their nodes, of course, and make it like online most of the time. And fourth is like execution, lightbed community. And so basically, their main job is to execute what's like the new proposals like agreed by the community. So basically, just follow what the community wants, decides. So basically, what will be like the replacement problem? So basically, of course, there will also be like addition. So basically, validators can be added as our ecosystem expands, right? So basically, if like more trusted parties could join this platform, in a long run, definitely will create more security. So basically, there will be like the community voting decision, like by like maybe like the Shima governance, like to the So basically, so also like there will be also like replacement. What kind of things these validators is like having problems? So the number one is definitely if this validator like verify a false transaction or even like a malicious transaction, definitely is this validator should be out. And also like if there will also be like guarantee like 99% availability, or we call it uptime, so that we make sure these validators are not offline often, so that it won't create problems for the platform. So this is actually, and also I suggested like I explained like normally like two-thirds of the nodes is like the threshold, and I suggest to have like 9 or 6 or 9 validators to start with. If we could find 9 reliable validators, definitely we can go for 9. Otherwise, we can go for 6. So basically, the application process, I was thinking like also at the timeline also I put here. However, I didn't really put like these validators. They need to put money to stake this, and because actually I was thinking like if, for example, if it's let's say like 6 nodes, it's like yeah, but of course I think I'm open to this. It's more like if feasible or not, because this is like a potential new thing. People are all like very interested, and basically if we say, oh, you need to put like a million IOTA into this to give you like a chance to become validator. Perhaps it's hard to push forward, but we can definitely worth thinking, because I was more like thinking like we could like I think the KYC is like a good idea, and also it's like trying to choose the reliable one, and also like the if the Shima governance also like the IF affiliate, if could like step in a little bit to so that the validators overall are more trusted. I think it's definitely a better idea. Yeah.
Did you
So
did you have a read in what Cosmos is doing? I've been really long looking and researching how the whole validator governance in Cosmos works for the IBC. It's quite nice. They have a lot of good information in their forum. about also their quality criteria for the IBC, especially around uptime, about responsibility in kind of if there are some no offline things and stuff like this. So they have done a lot of good stuff. I definitely recommend everyone that is interested in this to visit the Cosmos forum. They have our own section, our own thread around validator quality, and they have a couple of new proposals just coming up how to improve the selection process, the exchange process for validators. This is of course all kind of for the proof of stake Cosmos chain itself, but in the end you can apply these processes to something like this. Definitely, yeah.
Sounds great. Definitely check
It's
this out.
pretty good. They have a really, I mean, they're doing this since a couple of years, of course, and since they developed IBC and the Cosmos, this is basically the validators for the Cosmos Hub, and they have done quite some good research into it, and they also have done quite some good data analytics over the last, I think, 2 or 3 years. They are running out a hub. And really, they're really analyzing every single validator performance-wise and reliability-wise, and they do this very well with their governance, also with community votes about the criteria and stuff like this. So this, I think, should be something really interesting that can a lot of things can be taken picked up from there. Potentially, somebody could also look into how other proof of stake general things doing it, like near and things like this. I think there's a little bit for everyone interested, a little bit reading time around the general validator selection processes in a couple of blockchains or networks to do to see what can be used from there. But yeah,
Yeah,
like I said,
great.
Cosmos Hub is really, I don't know, I was researching for the general governance for the EVM validators, and I checked a couple of networks, and Cosmos is really written and done very well, it seems. So they have their shit together.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, good. Okay,
Good,
so
good.
some stuff to talk about. Okay. You got anything else? We're reaching an
Let me
hour.
think. Like I said, I'll probably Thursday morning going to sit down and start scratching out the last draft for the Treasury governance framework. Um, Everything else kind of is ready. I mean, we know which proposals we are. One thing, there's one more candidate stepping back from the grand reviewers. So I think we can just do it like the last time. I'll ask the next one in the line if they want to be one of the 10, and then we
Okay.
will just add one more. So basically, number 12 is now becoming number 10 for the vote in Firefly. Yes, we can start preparing all those things, and as soon as I hear some rumors from the Firefly side, would be really cool if we all can organize some proper alpha testing here in our group, so that basically all of us that have a little bit of time, if you're not yet part in the alpha tester group in Firefly, I'll get you in then, because once we have the first version to test for the governance framework, we should the faster and more we test, the better and quicker this whole thing gets done, and the faster we are able to vote. So we can put a couple of hours work there in for everyone and report some bugs if we find something to help the team to get
Is
it
there
over the finishing line. Yeah.
is there anyone that wants to alpha test that isn't an alpha tester? Maybe we'll
If
just
we
put it
have
in the. Go ahead, Warner.
I have to look if I'm still in that group.
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty
Cool.
much. Yeah.
And
But
maybe tag Philo in the channel,
Yeah,
and we could put
just
that
ping me if anyone wants to be part in the alpha tester group. There's no secret stuff happening there, so no leaks really, but just people that are you need to be able to handle your wallets properly and have some technical understanding to be helpful there, but otherwise usually the more people that are capable of putting a couple of hours of work in and doing proper reporting of the issues they find, this is pretty very helpful. Yeah, if you just want to play around with the new features, wait because then it goes into beta testing and everybody can just play with it. Alpha is a little bit more um, complex stuff because there is a lot of buggy things sometimes, but yeah, it's interesting. And once we have the governance thing, those that are involved here will get you all in, and then we get a couple of days proper testing going on, and that should be working. What else? And that's now I don't know if Sooniverse is implementing also token-based voting. I don't know if they rolled it out already, but that's looks pretty interesting. So all kind of native token voting can be done in Sooniverse soon. So that's very interesting also for every one of us to look into it. Yeah, but anything else? No more news from my side, I think.
Okay.
So we'll do Thursday, same time, yeah, 3 p.m. And also there was a thing, Laura, do you know, Mariana asked for, or how is it with your schedules for the meetings with in ATBA this year?
Um, so let me check. Sorry, my voice is a little bit let me check in her calendar because like
She's
I might change groups. I'm not pretty sure when these meetings are, but I'm gonna check for her. Wait.
yeah, I think
Okay.
she
So
had
I
some
think it's
issues Tuesdays or something, yeah.
yes, because like for me not because I'm gonna change the working group to the identity working group.
hmm
So yeah. So it's from 3:30 to 4:30 that she has this where
In
it overlaps with the governance
on
call on Tuesday.
Tuesdays. But you
Yeah.
you would be
I'm
there.
I'm ok- I, th-
Yeah.
I think yeah, I think I would be available because I'm gonna change the working group. Let
Okay,
me
cool.
check that one more time.
Yeah. Now we can
Um,
talk about that next week. So we might be able to just keep our dates. I mean, it's
yes,
always
yes, I
great
think
to
so.
have one of you on board, and I know Mariana wants to engage more in governance this year. So if she can join the Thursday calls, would be cool. Yeah, so we may be able to just keep our calls as we are.
Yeah, let's for sure talk about it maybe even on Thursday.
I think she's on
And
holiday this week.
I
Let's
can
wait until she's back next week, huh? Yeah.
okay, all
Yeah.
right. But for sure, I think one of us will be there on Tuesdays.
Yeah, cool.
Hmm?
Okay, everyone. If there are no, I mean, are there any questions from the audience as always? Anyone has any things to mention, any topics? Well, I just,
Uh,
yeah.
oh, I was curious mostly. Wait, is this call being recorded at the moment?
Uh,
Um,
Probably yes. Yeah.
oh,
It
well,
might still, yeah, it still works. Yeah.
after the I was just kind of wanting to briefly ask if someone would review. I made a kind of front end dashboard. I'm editing and modifying it. I want some people's feedback and opinions.
Just post a link in the chat in the governance discussion or something. I'm sure people will be happy to look over it and give you some feedback.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah. So if you have, I don't know, is it live already, or if you have some mock-ups or
I
something?
mean, it's not. It's
Just-
not. It's just a HTML web page. That's
Yeah, just share it.
just for as a template before I even make a functioning actual dashboard. I have to plan out the website design.
Share it in the channel. I will be happy to check and be very critical.
It's
on
not.
it.
It's truly just the template I got first, so it's not. I'm just trying to figure out what colors people like. It'll probably be more shimmer based later. I'm trying to figure out. It's easier for me to figure out what people want as a governance thing by asking the people going to be involved in the governance.
Yeah, cool.
Or I could stream, but basically it's this.
Okay.
Don't post it here in the chat. Post it in the governance discussion channel, because this chat is just here local for people won't see that later. Yeah, just put it in the
I mean, I'll just.
Yeah.
Are you? Yeah, sure. On governance.
Governance discussion far down in the end of the server.
There's too many channels.
There's too many channels. I know.
Anyway. Oh yeah,
Yes,
I forgot
down
you can favorite channels now in Discord. Wait, here we go.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to check. Discord rolls out a lot of cool new features from time to time. So, yeah.
Okay, wait, here we go. Okay, governance. Here we go. Here we go. Anyway, that's just one of the ideas and designs for it.
Oh, cool. Because then
Yeah, I
everybody
mean,
sees it and people can check through that and give you some feedback. Yeah.
Anyway, that's so we'll be editing that. But I just wanted to ask that before everyone finished.
Alrighty, cool. So until then, let's wrap it up. As I said, as soon as I hear something from the Firefly side, we'll kickstart something. Let's hope that we get this thing done in January somehow over the finish line, and we can have a vote in beginning of February. And then, yeah, looking really forward to all the legal stuff around the Treasury. JD, thanks a lot for all your work you're putting in. That's pretty cool. Also over the 3 days where I really try to stay away, you're still going, and that's pretty good. Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
If you
I'll reach out to Paulo.
yeah, reach out to
I'll
Paolo and I think do I have his contact or not? Maybe you can make you are in contact in Discord with him. Maybe you can make a
Yeah.
group with me and him and you, and because I have some questions around the wording for the framework that it fits with the operation agreement. Otherwise we avoid double work. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Okay,
Yeah, cool.
I'll do that.
Okay, everyone, then have a nice afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are, and see you on Thursday. Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.